Welcome back to another tutorial series on the first-person shooter segment. This will be in addition to the ammo. It's going to go into a little bit more with ammunition, dealing as far as multiple weapons and multiple ammos for said weapons. Not necessarily like weapon A has 5 different ammo modes, but weapons 1 through 4, and each one has a different amount of ammo because they're different types of weapons. Shotguns usually don't have 50 rounds to them. They have like usually 12. Assault rifles normally would have, a clip of like 100, 150, stuff like that. So we're going to set it up to where the system will see it, the system will react to it. This will not, however, cover two things. A, pickups related to other weapons, ammo, the ammo crates and stuff like that, or how to actually switch the mesh of the weapons. Those will be covered in a later video. For now, we're just going to get the ammo displaying and switching around. So as you can see here, I have the basic setup. I have the ammo count down the bottom corner, a 10 out of 50, which is just the default right now. 10 is your clip size, 50 is your maximum clip, or your maximum ammo. So you have 5 clips at 10 ammo apiece. I can fire off, my ammo count goes down, I can reload, I gain more ammo in my clip, I lose the current amount. Now, that could change, you could change that if you wanted to. When you load in a clip of a gun, you don't load just half that clip if that's what you need. You load the whole clip. So you can change that too if you know the clip size of the individual weapons or whatnot. But that's not relative to this tutorial. So, what's the first thing we're going to need to do? First thing we're going to need to do is we're going to need to go in here to our details panel. Whoops, drag this over here. And we're going to need to make a few things. The first of which is we're going to need to make what is called an enumerator. Okay, so if you right click on the opening, select Blueprints, Enumeration. Okay, go in there, you can name it whatever you want. In this case, I'm going to name mine Weapons List, because that's what it is. It's a list of my weapons. Alright, go ahead and Control S to save that real quick. And just a heads up, if you do hear any coughing, I do apologize ahead of time. My girlfriend's a little sick, but it's no big deal. Alright, so now with that open, go ahead and open up the enumerator, the enumerations list, and you'll see where it says enumerators. Now it's blank right now. Well, we're going to add some stuff to it. Now we're going to do 4 weapons, just so you can see the differences in how the different weapons interact and how the ammo counts to interact between different weapons. So we're going to go ahead and name these, and you can name them whatever you want. I'm not going for anything fancy here, so I'm just naming them, generic. And apparently I can't spell. So we got weapons 1 through 4. So now we can save that and go ahead and close out of that. We will not go back into that at all. Okay. Ignore the pickup thing. I was doing some testing. We'll delete that out because we don't need that. Alright. Now I am using the base template. It is the first-person shooter template. But what we are doing here can apply to any kind of game you make. It does not have to be a shooter. You can be using this particular method for a counter system. You can use this method for tracking, anything you want to. Okay. So now that we have that, we need to put in a function over here. Okay. Something that's going to control what we do with each weapon type. So we're going to click on function. We're going to name this weapon change, because it's what we're doing. We're changing weapons. Now we're going to need an input, because something coming into this function has to determine what we do. So we're going to click on New, we're going to click up here, and we're going to type in Weapon. Now Weapon List is the name of the enumerator that I've made. Whatever you named it, that's the name you need to put in there, okay? And you will find that enumerator. And then you can change this if you want to, just so you have better understanding of what exactly it is. We're choosing a weapon. What weapon choice are we choosing? Well, we choose that from our enumeration list. Now, you can do this next part one of 2 ways. You can drag off of the execution node. You can type in switch, and you'll notice that you get a whole ton of switches and on. You have to go through each and every one of them to find the one you're looking for. Or you can do a switch. You can drag off of weapon choice, off of your parameter node, type in switch, and you'll go straight to it because of the way it was made. I made it with the enumerations of the weapons list. So you drag that off. Now you'll know it's the right one when you see that list that you made here in the switch window. So weapons 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. Now, prior to this video being made and while doing some testing, I made several different variables. Now, I'm going to explain this, okay? This is not the only way to do this. I am sure that there are tons of ways to do this very same thing that I'm about to do. My way is just one of many. It does not mean that it is the only way. If you have a better way, a more efficient way, by all means, please leave it in the comments below. I would love to know more efficient ways of doing this stuff, even to the point where I may remake some of the videos to show the new way, the more efficient way. Okay, so that being said, here are the variables I've made. Okay, I've made 4 booleans. Okay, now a boolean is a true/false. All right, it's what allows you to dictate branch nodes, which we'll get into that here in a minute. And I made 4 of them, 1 for each weapon. Okay, I have made them editable. You don't have to. I have them editable because they're going to work for pickups and stuff that I was testing with a little bit ago before I made this. Same thing down here with these 4. Now the next ones that I made, each weapon has two types of ammo. They have the current ammo that is in their clip, and they have the maximum amount of ammo that the weapon can carry. Okay. I made a variable for each one of these for each weapon. So weapon 1C ammo is current ammo, and weapon 1M ammo is their max ammo. And I made one for each one of the 4 weapons. Alright, so if you want, go ahead and pause this video real fast and get that made, and whatever else you need, just ignore some of these other ones. Key press here, we'll get into here in a minute. You don't need to make a variable for it, but for simplicity I did. Okay, now the next thing we need to do is when we push whatever button it's going to be, whatever keys we're going to set up for the weapons, okay, when we push those weapons or that button, okay, we need it to set 2 things. Okay, the first thing that it's going to set is the ammo. Okay, so we're going to set whatever we want the ammo to be. Then we're going to set whatever we want the max ammo to be. Then connect those 2 up, connect that up, and then you plug in individual ammos to their respective nodes. Okay? Alright, so there's that. There is weapon 1. Okay. Now, you're going to do that for all 4 of them. Okay? That way, weapon 1, 2, 3, 4, so on and so forth. But, you can make each one of them over and over, but I'm going to show you an easier way. Okay? We're going to go ahead and copy and paste the thing. Now you'll notice that they have weapon 1 on them. Well, that's okay. We're going to fix that. Just position this up here a little bit. Okay. Now, something that you can do here, and people may know this, people may not. I didn't know this until today, in fact. Okay. Instead of dragging each node out, selecting get, and all that other stuff to redo this whole thing, if you take the node, drag it over the other one, it'll automatically, whoops, wrong button. It'll automatically replace it. Now make sure you don't drag it over the node, because if you drag it over the execution node there, it will do like it just did to me. Okay? Like that right there. Alright, this thing's all jacked up. Hold on a minute. Make sure when you mouse over to the change node to read weapon 4C ammo, whereas if you mouse over the name of it itself, That's going to be the execution. So it's not just this little dot here, but it's anywhere this name is going to cause it to equal that, and you don't want that, which is what I just did. There. And now we can connect all of these up. Now I haven't set values to any of the ammo things yet. Okay, so we're going to go through now. Let's say weapon 4 is a shotgun, so we're going to have 3 rounds in the barrel, in the pump action, and we're going to have 12 overall shells that we can carry. Okay, weapon 3 we're going to say is an assault rifle, so we're going to give it a max of 300 and a current of let's say 75. Whoop, not 175, 75. All right. 2 we're going to say is a well, who knows what we're going to say it is. But we're going to give it a maximum of 50 and a current of 10. And then 1 we're going to give 5 on the current, and the max we're going to give 25. Alright, so go ahead and compile and save that. Now, we're going to come back to this in a minute, okay, because there's still more that we need to do here. But we'll come back to that here in a second. Alright. What's this? Okay. Now, at the moment, though, nothing's going to happen when we push anything. Okay? So we need to come up here to Edit, go here to Project Settings, Input, Action Mappings. Now, I already put a thing in here called Weapon Change, okay? But I'm going to show you how I did it. You hit this plus sign, you mouse over it, it says Adds Action Mapping. You put that in, you type in the name of what you want. Once the name is typed in, you then choose whatever keys you want for it. You can do Xbox One, Steam, PS4, Touch, Motion, Mouse, the Android, anything you want. Okay. In this case, we're using keys 1 through 4. Weapons 1, 2, 3, and 4. Simple as that, no big deal. Go ahead and clear out of that. Now you can make a action mapping for each weapon if you want to. There's probably some switch command you can use to choose, you know, which one. If you're doing with C++, I'm sure you can do it without doing all the weird stuff we're about to do. Okay. Now that being said, hold on, it's auto-saving, I think. Or no, it dragged out because my mouse got stuck. I gotta clean out my mouse button. But alright, so we're gonna do this. Let's do this down here. No, we'll do it off the side up here. Okay. Now, first thing we're going to do is we need to get out the weapon change event. Now, we don't want to call function. We don't want to call this. We want to use the input event. Alright. Now, this is where key press comes in. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and drag this out and set it. Now, key to key press. You can right-click on the word key, promote to variable, and you'll get that, and then you can just rename it whatever you want. I named mine key press. The reason for this is when you push the weapon change, you've got several different keys you can hit. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Well, you want it to do something based off of whichever key you put in there. Okay? So, we're going to have to do a little bit of fun here. Okay? Alright, this is what we're going to do. And then a branch. Now, to get the branches out, you can either right-click and type in branch, or you can push the B as in Bob key and then click anywhere in the graph. Okay, connect that up. Now, this is going to be the 1 key. Okay, we don't want it to just be any key. We want it to be the 1 key. But only the 1 through 4 keys can even fire off this executable anyway. So now with that, we can drag out the weapon change, connect it to true, and change it to weapon 1. All you gotta do now is do that same thing 2, 3 more times. Now, like I said, I'm sure there's a switch. I'm sure there's something you can do. I mean, there's a switch on integer, switch on name, switch on string. Maybe that can connect to that. Yeah, no, it can't. Okay, but I'm sure there's some way to do it. But this is just the way that I've done it. Let me throw that up. 2, 3, and 4. All right. Now, with that being said, we can compile it. We can save it. We can minimize. We hit play. Again, notice we got ammo count down in the bottom corner. If we hit 1, it changes 5 to 25. If we hit 2, it does nothing. Because, well, no, we set up the rest of them, did we not? Let's see. Oh, that's why. Make sure that you actually change these, though. If you don't actually change them, well, nothing's going to happen. So we got 1, 2, 3, and 4. But now I'm going to show you the problem. We shoot off some rounds on that. We hit reload. We're at 10. Now, the clip size of the weapon is 75, not 10. Okay, so that's problem number 1. The next problem is, notice how we are 10 out of 37. I hit 4, I'm 3 out of 12. Okay, I go back to number 3, I'm back to 75 out of 30. Well, I wasted some of my ammo. Why do I have maximum ammo again? Okay, those are the two things that we're going to cover now. Okay, so the easiest one is the clip size. Okay, we're going to come down here or over here to where we do our reload. Okay, now you may not have this. This is from a previous tutorial video that is actually part of the core ammo video from before. Give me a second. That there. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this. I'm going to change it to an integer, and we're going to call this clip size. Okay, compile and save. All right, none. Cannot parse default value none for none. Okay. Okay. So now clip size is going to be plugged in to all these spots where it says 10. Okay. Just like that. So now we have a variable to control exactly how much is loaded from each weapon. Now we need to go back into weapon change. Now this is where we're going to fix the two problems that we've shown. Making that variable clip size does not fix the problem. It's still going to be whatever clip size is set to by default, which is 10. And I only did that because I had that error, you see. So we've got to set it to something. We've got to set it. So we're going to drag it up here. We're going to set. I'm going to copy, drag some down here. I'm going to connect some stuff up here. Now, each one of these clip sizes is going to be determined by what weapon it is. So, like, this is weapon 4. Weapon 4 is 3. So we're going to go 3. This one was 75. This one was 10. And this one is 5. And if you can't ever remember, just click back on your weapon ammo. And that'll tell you how much they were. Alright, save, compile, and save. Now that only fixes one part of the problem. It doesn't fix the other problem of saving the ammo when you switch between weapons. So we're going to fix that now. So that's what these booleans are for. I'm going to drag all these out. Alright. And now I'm going to connect them all up. Now you'll notice that they're all false right now, which is fine. That's what we want them to be. There, there. Alright, now each one is hooked to a different weapon, so we make that particular one true. Now again, there's multiple ways to do this. This really cannot be the most efficient way to do this. This is just the way that I thought of to do it, quick and simple. That way it's not too complex for even the easiest person to understand. Okay. Now, what are we going to do with this information now that we've got it set? Well, we're going to take all of this, we're going to drag it over here. Okay? Now we need to make a series of branches that are going to dictate, well, what's what here. Okay? So, we're going to do 4 branches. Okay? Now, we're not going to need all 4 of them for everything. I'm just making this up so that we can see it. Alright. Now with that, we're going to need each one's current ammo. We're going to need to set each one of them. Because when the weapons change back to their weapons, well, we want to know what they are. Okay, so this is how we're going to do that. Now again, there's probably other ways to do this with arrays or switch nodes, or who knows, maybe some large algorithms and stuff like that. Alright, and then connect each one of them up. Alright, now the false nodes connect into the next one. Okay. Now I'm going to leave the false node on 4 blank, and I'll show you why here in a minute. Okay. But what information do we need to plug into those nodes? Well, that's actually relatively easy. We need to plug the ammo count and the max ammo count, because when we switch the ammo, we're going to have this. These go fired first. So weapon 1's going to switch, and we're going to check. Well, is weapon 1 false? Well, if it is, or if weapon 1 is true, we're going to check this. If it's not, we're going to go check number 2. If 2 is true, we're going to do this. If not, we're going to check 3, so on and so forth. I don't think I can do this, though. Oh, wow, actually I can. Okay. That works for me. This could be where it gets tricky. Yeah, that's where it's going to be tricky. I thought so. Okay, so we're going to break those links for right now. Okay, and I'm going to break that link. Okay, so just keep plugging up all of this stuff. This and this. Okay, so now that's going to reset every one of them. Okay, I can drop this down to this here. But this is all fine and dandy, but as you just seen me a minute ago trying to play with it, how are we going to fire off everything? Well, that's relatively easy too. Okay. In the end, something over here is still going to fire off, regardless. You know? And if these are all true, or these are all false, then something's going to have to fire off. I mean, that's just the way it is, right? So then you just connect everything up. All of that can connect to one node. But I can't connect that to the next node because it'll cancel the other node connection. So this is where things get dicey. Okay, you would have to connect this to this and fire these off every time, and it's a giant headache. It really would be. So what I do is I do the following. I grab all of this, and I grab all of this. In fact, let's just do it like that. And I right-click on it. I select Collapse Nodes. And now I have all of that information right there. And then we call this Weapon 1. So now I can open that up. I can get this, Control C, back out, and then I can collapse each one of these nodes. Collapse. Oops. Collapse. And then Weapon 4. Highlight them all, drag them all the way over here. Okay. Now, go into them. You'll notice nothing's hooked up to them. Put in my branch tree. Connect that to that. Connect every one of these over. Go back. Get to that. We'll go ahead and do this. And connect that up. And then do the same thing for Weapon 4. Now what this will allow is this is going to prevent the use of ammo in Weapon 1, switching to Weapon 2, and then switching back to 1 and having full ammo, both max and current again. That's what this should stop. Okay. So now with all of that hooked up, go ahead and hit play. We hit 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, 4 are fired off. There we go. 1 is not firing off for some reason. Oh, probably because of this. Each weapon doesn't need to have their own thing in there because it's just going to mess up the system, and I think that's what it was. No? What is going on? Just worked a second ago. One, it's true. So 1 is Weapon 1. That's why. Okay. I forgot to connect up the false. Easy mistake. Now the reason it worked for the others but not for that one is because technically one's still true because we hit one. So and if you're asking yourself right now how that made any sense, yeah. During testing, I made weapon 1 true because I was doing some testing on pickups. So weapon 1 was true by default. You can uncheck that. If it would be unchecked, none of them would have fired. That's just how that would have gone down. But now if we hit 1, we got 5 out of 25. 2, we got 10 out of 50. 3 is 75 out of 300. And 4 is 3 out of 12. Now let's fire off some of this. Alright, we got 3 out of 12 left in 4. We got 2 out of 34 left there. Now, we go back to 4. We have 3 out of 2. Okay. So with that, that has shown you how to take and do multiple weapon system or multiple weapons and their ammo counts. Now, I'd like to wrap up with saying again, this is not the only way. I've had people sit there and tell me in some of my other videos that there's better ways to do this, there's other ways to do this. I'm not disagreeing with that. There are. Your way may be better than my way. My way may not work for what you're doing. But it gets you started. It's somewhere to get started with. I am not an expert in the Unreal Engine. I'm not quite a beginner because I've been doing it for about 1.5 years, 2 years now with the Unreal Engine 4. But there's still a lot out there that I don't know. But I'm learning it. I'm trying to. So with that, I'd like to thank you for checking out this video. And I hope that you found the information within it helpful. And in the next video, I'm hoping that I can get pickups done for each weapon type. So like if you got your pistol, you want to pick up the ammo just for the pistol. You don't want to pick it up and give that ammo to everything. So we're going to look into that. We're also going to look into switching out the weapon. Now this weapon here that Unreal Engine has in it by default, this white gun, that is a skeletal mesh. Not all weapons, though they should if they have any kind of animation to them, are going to have skeletal meshes. Some are just going to be static meshes. So there's ways around all that, and we'll get into that later. But thank you for tuning in, and I hope you have a good day.